Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining us today for our HealthLinks webinar. Just to remind everyone, HealthLinks is a signature program at the Center for Health, Work, and Environment at the Colorado School of Public Health, and we collaborate with employers to build a culture of health and safety in the workplace. My name is Michelle Hahn, and I am the Community Programs and Events Manager for HealthLinks. And one of my favorite parts of my job is to work alongside our partners and throughout the community to put together some really engaging topics and presentations for you today. These webinars are really designed to relate back to our HealthLinks standard, which includes these 6 benchmarks, in order to provide you and your teams with the resources to help you create a supportive environment for your employees. Today, we have a little bit different style format of a presentation, but I'm really excited for it. We are joined by some of our recognized healthy businesses, Pinnacol Assurance and Hilton Garden Inn, DIA, who both received the Champion of Wellbeing Awards at our annual event last August. And they're here to share their story, and then we'll open it up for an interactive discussion. So Debbie Chura is on the line with us today, and she's from Hilton Garden Inn. She works as the Human Resources Coordinator, and she is joined by Logan Shaver, who is the HR Business Partner and Wellness Coordinator for Pinnacol Assurance. So I'm going to allow them each to present a little bit to set the stage on the history of their program, some key highlights, and then we're going to open it up for some discussion. So before we hand it over to them, I just wanted to highlight a couple of housekeeping items. So even though this will be more interactive, we're still going to keep all of our participants on mute. So if you have a question, you can simply use the Q&A box that popped up in your control panel at the top or the bottom part of your screen, or you can just simply use the chat function, which should also be in the same location. I will be monitoring the questions from there and ask questions on behalf of you. That way we don't have any interference with the microphones and sound, and it allows everybody not to have to talk over each other or try to interrupt. With that, I am going to have Debbie start us off and give us a little bit of information on Hilton Garden. And Debbie, you're going to have to unmute yourself on your end as well. There you go.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted now. Hello, everyone. Well, I work for the Hilton Garden Inn, Denver Airport. I've been with the company off and on over 13 years now. And first off, Hilton promotes a culture of health and wellness. They provide lots of tools with training. They do a quality assurance inspection to make sure we are up to Hilton's standards with regards to safety and health and the property being up to code and being recognized as a Hilton. And then also we have a management company that promotes health, wealth, and safety of our employees, our guests, and they just have great programs in place which we expand. And also I'm a part of a coalition that provides great input, and we pride ourselves on not only implementing great practices, but we also see what other people do, and we take from that some bits and pieces and make it our own as well. We promote not only a culture of just health and safety in the environment, but we also like to have fun. When you walk into our building, you're welcomed as part of our family, and you get a sense of community, whereas we really care that you're here and that you're going to have a great stay. And then as staff, we care about you. We care about what's going on with you. We not only want you as a valued employee, but again, as family, we want to know that you're okay, that your friends and family are okay. And so when we have, we have a employee picnic, which all friends and family are invited. We have a health fair every October. We cover flu shots. We have vendors who are health related, who provide input and resources and education. And we have opened that up to be a part of not only just for our staff, but also for their family members to attend if they want to. We also have employee meals. We provide at least one meal a day for our employees, and it's a healthy, great option. We, if you see from our slides, we not only provide a hot meal, but we also, at least once to twice a week, get a home-cooked meal. Anna, in one of our slides, is preparing pozole, which, if you're not familiar, it's a really great soup is what I call it. And it's just on a cold day, you cannot beat our pozole from Anna. And then we also do a lot of community service as a group too. One of our favorites is the Comidas Homeless Shelter. It provides homes. They have a unit that has a 2-year for families. They can stay up to 2 years. And so we've hosted 2 dinners for them. And then we also do fundraisers and clothing drives and food drives for the Comidas. And that is mainly coordinated by our management staff, but open to all who want to participate. So thank you for being a part of our webinar and listening to my presentation. I'm going to conclude mine with, we'd love to have everyone as a guest if they're in the area too.
Thanks, Debbie, and thanks for that quick overview. I know that we'll have a list of questions to get a deeper dive and to help you expand more on those programs. But before we get into that point of our discussion, we're going to go ahead and hand it over to Logan. And Logan, have you share a little bit more about your organization?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle. And thank you, Debbie, for sharing your story as well. And thank you to everybody for joining today. To give you kind of a brief overview of our everyday wellness program that we have for Pinnacol Assurance, the program itself has been in place with us for a little over 15 years. And about 3 years ago, we decided to do a relaunch of the program and really try to get the energy back again and reinvigorate the employees and get them more engaged with the program. So we've taken a look and tried to create many options for them to be able to participate. And Michelle, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time advancing to the next slide. Thank you. So really what we did is, in addition to the health risk assessment and the annual biometric screening, we also have all employees complete an annual ergonomic assessment as well. And then they would also meet with an ergonomist once if they had any issues throughout the year. We also provide health coaching. We have an indoor walking route, and then we provide wellness incentives and reimbursement for outside wellness activities. Recently, we've just added nap pods to our wellness platform as well, so employees can take a mindful break throughout the day to kind of re-energize themselves. And then in addition to that, we've started mindful and resilience training. We also have a lactation room, on-site fitness classes and workout facility, and we subsidize weight loss programs, Weight Watchers being one of them. So really an opportunity for them to be engaged in whatever aspect they want to be engaged, whether it's more of a fitness side or more of a mental wellness, taking care of ourselves side. We do also open up our programming to their spouses and family. We also really wanted to create a program that was going to be led and designed by employees. So we have it set up so employees, if they have a program or a group that they want to teach, we give them the platform to do so. So one of the classes in the picture is presented here. And that is our sipping and painting class that we have every 2 months. So we buy wine and we have employees come in, and it's more of the social aspect of our wellness program and gives them an opportunity to network and meet people they haven't met before and try to create new relationships and friendships. So along with the painting classes, we also have some people who teach Zumba, boot camps, and they also host run clubs throughout the week as well. And then in addition to the programming, we obviously track our engagement. And so really we have an online platform that we use called Virgin Pulse. And what that allows us to do is track all of our HRA biometric results in one location. And it also allows employees to be engaged in an online platform. So if they're not able to attend the in-person lunch and learn or the learning series, they're able to do different learnings online. And so some of those learnings is more of a habit formation. So being able to check daily habit cards and also be able to participate in different programs and challenges. So we'll have like a healthy habit challenge about gratitude, or it'll be a step challenge that we create. In addition to that, it also allows each of the individuals to create their own challenges amongst their own friends. So if they want to challenge another business unit or just a small group of 10 people, they have that option to do so. And so that was a very quick, brief overview, trying to just jam it in a little bit. But I know, like Debbie and Michelle mentioned, we have some questions to go over. So happy to go through those.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Logan. And yes, that was, like I said, just a very quick highlight of both programs. And we're going to have both Logan and Debbie respond to some of your questions. So I have a few listed out already, and some people already submitted questions ahead of time. So I'm going to walk through them. But as you think of questions, especially based on what Debbie and Logan highlight, feel free to use your chat to type them in and ask more questions, or use the Q&A box that is in your control panel. Debbie and Logan, you both have some pretty well-established programs, and I know that Logan especially is a little bit newer to Pinnacol. I think you're on, what, year 3, almost 4 possibly, but obviously the programs were well-established even before you both got started. But can you share a little bit of a history of what it actually took to develop a health and safety program and get it ingrained in your culture?
Sure. So I think, for us, when we originally created the program, it was more focused, our business, we cover workers' compensation throughout Colorado. And so it was really important for us to be able to lead the charge in what we want to be able to provide and help our policyholders with. So being able to create a safety and wellness program really benefited us, just from the standpoint of understanding what the people we're working with and the groups we're trying to help maybe struggling with and maybe wanting to do to lessen claims and to really show the employees that they are supportive of their individual wellness goals. So it was really a very strong business case that we had when we started.
And here at the Hilton Garden Inn, we, our management company has always been geared towards providing not just a salary, but benefits to the employees. Our CEO, president at the time, who has passed, believed that a happy employee was way more productive, and it wasn't just about what salary you offered, but what benefits. And he instilled not only memberships being reimbursed, but just overall, he would even send out a book when he came across it. Just business practices, he believed that the happier the employees, the more the output, the better the business got. And then we had a bad year in workers' comp, where it just seemed like what was going on. So we looked out and we recruited people to go, what do we need to do? Because not only are we having lots of things go on, but what can we do to not just make it a safer environment, but make sure everybody feels they're taken care of?
That's great, thank you. And that kind of leads into one of the next questions that I had for both of you. We are always working alongside organizations to make sure that they have leadership and management buy-in. We believe that without that, you can't really be successful and create a sustainable program. And that has to be kind of a top-down approach as well as a bottom-up approach. And Debbie, I like that you highlighted the story of that it really was your manager and his support and the way that he wanted to run his business. But can either of you speak to a little bit more on the idea of how you can get managers and leaders buy-in and what kinds of things they like to hear about the program that keeps them engaged and helps them continue to support what you're doing.
Yeah, I think for us here, really, what's important, I think, to get it started, but also to be able to continue a strong program and that continued support, Michelle, that you mentioned, it's really being able to show them not only the benefits of what a safety and wellness program is for and what it does for employees and for their teams and for the productivity that they want to get out of them, but it also comes down to being able to explain to them and show them how integrated the wellness program should be in all other aspects of the business. So if there's other, most of our executives are an executive sponsor of another group or a committee, like a recognition committee or a giving campaign committee. And it's really being able to reiterate to them the importance of what they're trying to do with their committee and show how a safety and wellness program can support that and really work on marrying the two. And I think once you can successfully marry all of those programs together with that executive sponsorship and buy-in, it's much easier to continue the program and continue to grow it with that continued support.
And here I find our managers really like having someone on point that can show them, here's what's going on, here's what we're proposing, and here's what we think would be a good idea. So it doesn't fall just on the management to come up with ideas, but also our committee. And from those ideas, results are we are on paper in a much better place after instituting the wellness program, after revamping it and adding to it. The results and the commitment are what the managers here really like to see.
That's great. Thank you both. And I think you both highlighted a little bit that from the managers, they also use the wellness program to show their support for your overall health and well-being. Can you each share a personal story about how you've been supported by your manager in achieving your own overall well-being? And I know, Debbie, you have more of a story kind of on your family side and the way that your leader supports you outside of work as well. Do you want to share a little bit more about that?
Sure. Actually, I just attended a Special Olympics event with my son, CJ, who is autistic. He was diagnosed 2 years ago on the severe spectrum. Now, anyone who is who provides support for a child with disabilities probably knows not only is it emotional, but it takes up a lot of time. And so, and I was a first. You know, we are very fortunate that we have a very healthy staff, and not a lot of our families have family members with disabilities. There's few and far between. So it was a unique challenge that my boss not only took on, but excelled at. He provided me with the emotional support, and then he also provided me with a flexible schedule. He told me, your family is important. They are above your job. So whatever you need to do, whatever we need to do, your work schedule, just let me know and we'll change it. Let me know. And if you need to work from home on occasion, you know, and so they did, and they continue to. And I know that my position is not a single position. I know that if another parent has a child with disabilities, we now have an understanding, and now we get a better idea of how to support these families. And so it still gets me choked up and emotional, because this is the first place that I know of that would, hands down, not only do they support me, but when my son comes to our employee events, he's treated like a normal kid. And that's indescribable, because that's all a parent wants.
That's really great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing that, and I just love that story, and I'm so glad that you can feel supported in that way. Logan, how about you? Do you have any personal stories of how your organization supports you and your goals for achieving health and well-being?
I do. Yeah, I think it's, you know, I'm thinking specifically back to last year, you know, and first of all, I think they're very good about allowing us an opportunity to work out during our day, take breaks when we need to, and really be in charge of our own schedules, which is incredible. Last year, I personally went through kind of a serious illness at the beginning of the year. And, you know, in talking with my manager and really trying to figure out what I needed to do for me personally, the decision was made immediately that really if I needed to work from home, if I needed to change my schedule, if I needed to take extra time, that I was allowed to do so without questions asked. And it was really up to my schedule outside of work that would allow me to do so. Another thing that I think was just incredible, and it's something that, you know, Debbie mentioned this as well, that it's an organizational thing that we do for all employees, but we have a grant and loan program. So what that does is it allows us, whenever we are going through an issue and we have a lot of medical bills or things that are kind of piling up, we can request a grant or a loan. And what that does is it's basically just a form that we fill out, we submit it with the amount that we're requesting, and we get a check within 2 days. And that check is there to help us if we need to pay rent, medical bills, anything along those lines. So that for me was really incredible, and it really reiterated the culture of caring that we have here and how important it is to, when we're going through something like that, it's stressful enough, but then to have to worry about finances is incredibly hard. So having another option and support really helps alleviate a lot of that stress that we're going through.
Wow, that is really amazing. That's a great program to have established, and I'm sure it helps a lot of people in your workplace. One thing that I just wanted to highlight that both of you kind of talked about and that we continually hear as important as well for helping support personal goals is that open communication and trust between you and your manager or your leader, and that having that open door type of policy where you can feel like you can walk up to a leader or manager and talk about your personal health in the first place and talk about what might be happening outside of the workplace and how you can kind of adjust your schedule or be flexible and ask for support is really important. And I know that that's really hard to establish in a workplace, but once you have that, I know that it goes a long way to helping people just feel that value and care to achieve whatever they need help achieving. That's really great. So switching gears just a little bit, it's really fun to highlight all of the exciting things that are happening and the successful things that are happening, but I know that there are always some challenges when you are trying to implement and promote some programs. So can both of you speak a little bit about the types of challenges that you have faced or continue to face, and what types of things you work through to help overcome those challenges and be successful?
Sure. So, you know, I think that a lot of, you know, a really common theme challenge that we have here is all about food and nutrition. And so, you know, especially when we relaunched the program, and it still echoes throughout the building now, it's, are they watching what we're eating? Are they going to take away the foods that we enjoy? And so I think for us, that's a constant challenge in being able to explain and express that it's not an all or nothing type of atmosphere, that it definitely is a choice, I think, that people have, and that really ultimately it's just a matter of being able to allow people a number of choices. So not so much focusing on something, you know, removing a certain type of food or removing food altogether. It's offering the same food that we always have, but just offering a healthy alternative. And you know, as we go through each year, it seems to reset itself, where it starts off in the very beginning with everyone worried that something is going to be taken away or changed. And we kind of have that ongoing battle every single meeting, until about midway through the year, and then it kind of starts to click again. So I think that's just something that is a struggle for us here in being able to be a part of the decision-making process with food choices, and being able to share that there's other alternatives that can be discussed, if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you. Providing comprehensive options is really important, and yeah, it's hard to reach everyone, but I think sometimes when you provide a variety, it helps to capture as many people as you can.
Absolutely.
Debbie, how about you? Do you have anything to share?
We just, it's what do people want? We already have a lot of programs in place, and for the most part, they're utilized, but it's like, how do we get people excited about health again? It almost seems like a chore sometimes. So, you know, you give a little, you reward, and you encourage participation with creative ways like incentives, and just make it fun again.
That's great. And speaking specifically to some creative ways, what are some of those innovative things that you've done or had to try in order to increase participation and get the ideas from your employees?
So we started an indoor walking club and an indoor walking route. So on days when it's really slippery or icy out or cold or too hot even, we have a mile route within the building that employees can go, and it's just travel like an open path where it takes them through all of the floors. So that's been really successful for us. And I think another thing that's really kind of helped keep the engagement and the excitement is what I mentioned earlier as far as the employee-led wellness programming. And then, you know, really what that does is, outside of just simply having a champion or a group of champions that are out talking about it, you now have an individual or 2 or 3 individuals that are really, really incredibly passionate about what they're going to be teaching and what they're going to be doing. So they're out there doing the recruiting for you and really getting people engaged and getting people excited. And so that's been, I think, something really cool to see in having these ambassadors go throughout the building and just support each other and support the programming that they want to offer.
That's really cool.
And here we laugh because we start off with anything that we're organizing, doing, trying to get participation up. We start with, well, what are we feeding everyone? And then, okay, we now have, and it's usually something really good. And you know, when it comes to motivating people, food is a big motivation. It doesn't have to be unhealthy either. It has, you know, or a reward after you've completed whatever community service, going out for an ice cream treat afterwards, or going out to breakfast and as a group after going and helping some hosting the dinner at the homeless shelter. So we do laugh, but we do kind of start out with, okay, are we eating afterwards? Are we eating during? Or are we eating before?
Food is always the key. That's so true. We do have a specific question to those special events, Debbie, and Logan, I think you can share on your employee-led events as well. But when you have a special event, it sounds like some of them might take place either in the evenings, after work hours, possibly even on the weekend. So what does participation look like for those special events, and how do you get people to attend them? Because I know it can be hard to, you know, it's one thing to allow somebody to enjoy a program during their work hours, but to get them to stay or to have them come in an extra day or change up their schedule can be overwhelming as well. So can you talk a little bit about that and how you address those types of issues and engage the employees?
Absolutely, and that's a great question too, because I think that's a continued struggle for sure. And really, you know, kind of how we accomplish the engagement and getting people to participate on, you know, evenings and weekends. It's, since we have the opportunity, we invite the families to join them. So, you know, we're trying to remove at least one barrier of, well, I want to get home to my family, I want to get home to my kids, to, well, why don't you just bring them with you and you can all participate? So typically when we do that for like a self-defense class on the weekend or anything after work, minus the sipping and wine, or the painting and or sipping and painting, excuse me, we don't have kids in for that. But for everything else, we typically see about an engagement rate of about 65 to 70% of the population who registers comes in for that.
For our special events, participation varies depending on the event. The health fair is held during working hours, so we try to capture as many people here working so it's a flow. And so for the 3 hours, they can come and go and they're still paid for it. Now, getting people, we also do like a prize incentive. You go visit all the vendors, drop it in, and there is prize potential. So that seems to maybe draw in people who aren't working. Maybe if the prize is good enough, maybe it's worth coming in for, as well as your flu shot and some of the vendors. And then our other employee event, the picnic, all friends and family, you know, we just need a count of who's coming, and we offer gifts to our employees, and that's always a crowd pleaser. And then our holiday party is employee plus a guest, just because we try to keep that a little bit more formal of an event, and that's in the evening. So we try to, one's on the weekend, one's in the evening, and one's during working hours during the week. So we try to incorporate and accommodate as many of our staff as we can when we're thinking of these things.
That's great. And Logan, this one expands a little bit more and I think is more focused on your organization and the platform that you use through Virgin Pulse. But I know that we have a few people on the line that use portals to track participation, or similar to Virgin Pulse, you can select different programs to participate in. How do you get your employees to engage in that type of platform and keep them engaged? And do you use incentives, or is there, did it take a while to establish that and have them participate that way, since it's not a live event and it's something they have to do on their own?
Yeah, and that's a great question. So when we launched Virgin Pulse, we had our enrollment rate reach about 90%, which was awesome and exciting. And then we just gradually started to see the actual participation in the program really start to decline. So some of the ways that we've been able to try to counteract that is, that we do incentivize. So once they reach a certain level within the platform, they receive $25 per quarter for achieving that top level. And then through creating individual challenges has been helpful. And then when I mentioned earlier, being able to network and work with other committees throughout the building. Anytime that they have a challenge, for example, right now our recognition committee is running a gratitude focus for the month. So we've set up challenges within our platform that mirror what that committee is working on. So we're getting more usage out of that because they may be more involved in that than they would be normally in the wellness platform. We've also really focused on what the needs are for the employees and what they've been asking for through surveys, through conversations, focus groups. And so we've enhanced the platform to cover not just, the healthy habit tracking and, general nutrition and fitness knowledge, but we now track more deeply, we go more deeply into sleep. And then we also added the mindful and resilience platform to our online portal as well. So when you log in, it's basically now just a one-stop shop where you can do mindful, nutrition, sleep, fitness, and healthy habit tracking. So I think it was just creating a more robust program that mirrors what we're trying to do in person and taking that online.
That's great, thank you. You both talked about having a robust program and offering a variety of options, which I'm sure can be really hard to communicate all of the great things that you have to your employees. And so I just wanted to focus on that a little bit. How do you kind of market your wellness programs? And do you have any creative techniques other than, everybody gets inundated with emails? It would be really hard to text all the employees at once. I'm sure that the platforms help a little bit, but are there other creative ways that you help get the word out, or things that you find successful in your marketing plans?
Yeah, so first, I just want to say I'm very lucky in that I have a communications lead that is on the wellness champion side. And so she is actually creating the emails and the communications plan on an annual basis. So that's been really helpful and supportive. In addition to that, we dress up as types of fruit, and we'll go to team meetings and team stand-ups and different events and dress as we're dressed like fruit and talk about upcoming events that we're promoting, or changes that are going to be happening to the platform or to the program itself. And so really it's being goofy in a sense, and trying to do something that makes us stand out a little bit more, that are going to get people to think, why are you dressed as a pineapple? And that kind of helps, I think, start the conversation, and then you get more, I think, a larger group of people that you can kind of spread the word to. And especially if you're going to meetings and handing out like a snack as you're dressed as a fruit is fun, and people seem to really enjoy it. They may just be laughing at me, but I'm telling myself I'm just enjoying it.
That's great. I have seen those costumes, and it is pretty fun to watch you all wear them and dance around your workspace with them. It takes a lot of confidence on your guys' part too, but it does add that fun aspect to it.
It does.
Debbie, yeah. Debbie, what about you? Can you share a little bit about how you get the word out and let your employees know all of the great things that are happening?
Well, we'll put out flyers. We will talk to the managers. We will put it on our reports daily that employees will read. And then I will walk around about a week before going, did you know about this? Did you know about this? We're a small enough organization. I can usually find about 75% of the people and go, hey, did you read? And they'll be like, no. And I'm like, well, we got this going on.
That's great. And I do appreciate that you highlighted that, when you are a smaller organization, it is easy to go around and talk to people face to face, and there's also that accountability factor in there. But for both of you, we do have a lot of smaller organizations that are in our network and may not have the same amount of resources as large organizations, or either be able to provide what you two are talking about today. Do you have any advice on something that you've done that actually was pretty simple to run and didn't cost very much money or any money at all, and got your employees excited and still engaged around health and safety?
I think the thing that when we first started, something that we did was successful and really kind of simple to do and manage was an information table in the main entrance of our building during the high traffic times. So first thing in the morning when people are coming in, and then as they're leaving. And so what we did is we played music from a cell phone in the lobby and had information about changes, and it was just maybe a couple of flyers. And it really, I think, just kind of, as people were walking by, I think we had snacks too, or like little stress balls. So something like not crazy expensive, but a little something just to get people over. Like Debbie mentioned, everybody loves food. And so, and then they would come over and there would just be that conversation. So I think that was an easy way for us to kind of start making the connection and putting a face to the program.
And it wasn't free, but it was low cost. We handed out personalized waters and granola bars to every employee with an invite on them. So they had to, in order to open the granola bar, they had to read the invite.
That's a great idea.
That is.
Yeah. Programs also take just a lot of time and energy to run, and each of you are just one person at your organization, but I'm sure you have some others that help you, and we wanted to talk a little bit more about that and how you kind of develop a team if you have enough staff to develop a team to help run the program, and what it takes to, encourage somebody that they are a champion in their workplace and have them help promote health and safety in general. So do you have a formalized committee? Do you just rely on people to kind of help spread the word and champion and share their story? Can you guys talk a little bit more about that and how you are actually successful in doing all of these programs?
We do have an organized wellness champion group that we have, and we meet typically monthly. And during those monthly meetings, it's a matter of discussing, the upcoming programming that we're going to be having, where we may be lacking with attendance issues that we foresee, or also that's an opportunity for us to get new ideas. And then based on the programming, typically there's one or two people that are very passionate about that specific topic for the month, whether it's heart health or type 2 diabetes, anything like that. So they really volunteer and just take the charge to spread the word, to get people engaged and to spread the excitement about it. And then really, as far as managing a program and trying to offer different programming options and lunch and learns, we rely a lot on our partners. So we rely on HealthLinks for the information that you provide. We also rely on organizations like the American Heart Association, the American Diabetes Association, and they offer free lunch and learns, and they send marketing materials. And so we're able to really partner with them on a larger scale, so that a lot of that work is already going to be done for us. And so we don't really have to search out and try to find presenters or come up with new material. It's already there, and we just, again, we partner with them, and they come on site and teach those classes for us.
And we, when I really need help, I go to my general manager, and he motivates people like no other. But we committee, and then also being a part of the Tri-County Health Coalition, the Work Well. There's a lot of resources, grants, and so we've really utilized the resources that they've offered and the camaraderie with the coalition.
That's great. I do also believe that partnership and collaboration is the most successful way of getting anything done. And I love the businesses that are part of HealthLinks, because you all are willing to do something like this, join us for a webinar and share your story, or come to events and share stories and exchange ideas there as well. But that connection is really valuable, I think, whether you're working with a local community organization or coalition, like you said, Debbie, or just the other organizations that already they focus on providing lunch and learns. There's so much created that I think we often think that we need to reinvent the wheel or recreate it just for our own team, because we might feel like we're different. But I think there are ways to utilize what's already out there and just adapt them and change them a little bit to be successful. That's really great. I think we have just a few more minutes. I have 2 more questions for each of you. And if anybody has any other final questions they would like to ask before we jump off today, please feel free to send them in. We still have about 10 to 15 minutes. But the first question for both of you is, what advice do you have for our listeners on whether they're just getting started with a program or just need a little encouragement to keep their program going? What advice do you have from your own knowledge and expertise?
My advice, don't get discouraged. Don't listen to the people who, don't listen to the negative comments, the people who, I don't want to do this. Why would you promote this? Nobody's going to. You always have some negative people who are always going to not want to participate. That's okay. They are not the whole of the group. There will always be that few and far between who will not participate, and that's okay.
That's a really good point. And I think kind of what goes along with that as well, and what my recommendation was going to be, is to stay consistent. When you have the programming and everything, it's I'm not saying don't try new things. It's just a matter of being consistent in your messaging and in your delivery. And that will really help with at least in my experience, really help with the buy-in from your organization and from the team members that you're working with and trying to support and help. And that reiteration of the same message over and over again will definitely start to eventually click in a little bit.
Yeah, that's both of you gave really great advice. Thank you. It is hard to remember that you will probably never get 100% participation on a program, but not to let that stop you. And then the reiteration and communication is key. I know that in marketing and advertising, they always say that it takes about 7 times for somebody to see the same message in 3 different ways before they actually take a step and take an initiative. So that's great feedback. I appreciate that. And the final fun question for each of you, what makes you love going to work every day?
For me, it's the people. I love the people I work with. I love the interactions I have. I love hearing the challenges and the successes. And it's just every day I come in, there's a new energy about the day, and there's something new that is happening and someone else that I get to connect with that maybe I haven't yet connected with.
And here it's knowing that I laugh every day. We have something to look forward to every day that I come in. Even if we're all kind of having an off day, someone will burst out into song at the front desk and we'll all be like, well, okay, there it is.
That's great. I do remember I visited one time, and I think it was your manager broke out in some rap parody that he made up on the spot, which was pretty hilarious.
Yes, he did.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I wanted to thank you both again so much for just going through those questions with us and sharing your stories. Like I said, I know it's super helpful when we get to hear what other people are doing and just learn some new tips and tricks. And I thank everyone else on the phone and on the computers for joining us to engage in the discussion today. I will send out a follow-up email, and you can listen to this session again if you'd like, or share it with someone else if you want to provide some tips and tricks, and then make sure that you're able to connect with us if you have more questions or want to learn more from our presenters. I did just want to highlight 2 events that are coming up. So next week is Bike to Work Day. So for those of you that want to help promote being active and healthy and are able to commute safely to work using your bike, we would love to have you join us. We have a team that is committed to doing this, and we'll be snapping selfies and photos all day long. And we have a special contest for all of you. So anybody that participates and does snap a photo of themselves on that day and tags BTW 2018 on our HealthLinks Twitter handle, we are keeping track of the most likes and retweets, and we're going to give away a free ticket to our annual event. So that event actually takes place this year on August 16th, which is a Thursday, and registration is open right now. Both Debbie and Logan will be joining us. They are some of our speakers at the event this year for our Meet the Mentor session, and obviously they won the Champion of Wellbeing Award last year in each of their categories. So we will be presenting the winners for this year's award, and it's always a great place to get connected to other people and have a lot of fun. And we're going to be talking all about the employee experience and how you make work meaningful for everyone. So we really hope that you're able to join us for that. And you can visit the website for more information and to register. With that, I know we're a little early, but I always like to try to give back some time to people in their days. Logan, Debbie, do you have anything else you'd like to share before we jump off?
No, thank you so much for the opportunity. This was a lot of fun.
Yep, thank you, Michelle, and thank you, HealthLinks, for providing this opportunity.
Great, yes. Thank you. It was really great. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you next time.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.